Today, I'm going to answer an exercise question I've been asked very often, especially around now during this COVID situation where people are on quarantine or under lockdown and they're just dying from boredom or simply want to improve themselves. And that question is, can I exercise every single day? And I've got an answer for you coming right up. For some people, exercising just one day a week is harder than squeezing blood from a stone. But there are people on the opposite side of the situation, and they exercise many days a week. And in fact, they're wondering if they can take it another level and exercise every single day. Especially around now, where most of us are working from home thanks to courtesy of this COVID situation. And people see this as the perfect opportunity to finally get started on a serious exercise program. And by serious, we mean every single day. So can you? Now you might be thinking, nah, that's not me. Hey, don't be surprised. Now a lot of people I know, including the people I coach, once they start exercising, they actually enjoy doing it. Now I think it's because of the activity itself, but more importantly, there's something mesmerizing about seeing and feeling improvements in yourself every single day. Now, whether it's feeling confident or being more able to do something you couldn't before, or simply looking better in the mirror. These little things keep people coming back for more. So, can you exercise every day? Well, the short answer is yes. But there are some things you need to be aware of. Now, first is type of exercise. There are, of course, different types of exercise. Now, first is the aerobic cardio type of exercise. Then there's strength training, flexibility training, gains. The list goes on and on. Now, each of these types of exercise imposes a different type of demand on the body and therefore require different periods of recovery. And that's why the American College of Sports Medicine, the ACSM, has different recommendations for different types of activities. So when it comes to aerobic exercise, you can exercise 3 to 7 days a week. If it's strength training, then you should be exercising 2 to 3 days a week with a day's rest in between. And for flexibility, you can exercise pretty much every single day. But we also have to consider intensity of exercise. Now, intensity of exercise is how hard are you working? So we generally can rate it very simply on a 10-point scale. So if you're exercising at a moderate level, you're exercising at 4 to 6 out of 10. And if you're exercising at a very vigorous, high-intensity level, well, then that's 7 and above on a 10-point scale. So if you're doing moderate intensity cardio, you can be exercising 5 to 7 days a week. But if you're doing intense level activity, right, very vigorous cardio, then the recommendation drops down to 3 to 5 days a week. In other words, you titrate your exercise frequency to your exercise intensity. Now, recovery is another factor. Your body needs time to heal, to recover from the micro-trauma of exercise. And your body also needs time to replenish its fuel stores. So, have you recovered fully by the time you want to exercise again? Do you still have DOMS? Delayed onset muscle soreness. Now that's the soreness that you commonly get after experiencing a new exercise stress. And if you have a pain or an injury, you really shouldn't be exercising again until you get that seen to and cleared up. Now, recovery is also very individual. There are some people who just tend to recover from exercise activity faster than someone else who has just done the same program at the same level of training experience. And if you're used to a certain type of activity, you tend to recover from that activity faster. Variety of stress is also a factor. So I really don't recommend doing the same kind of exercise every single day, imposing the same kinds of stress on the same joints every day. For example, unless you're training for something specific, I don't recommend in general running every single day because you're imposing impact on the same joints without giving them a day's rest in between. So instead, I recommend that if you want to exercise every single day, maybe today you run, tomorrow you go for a swim, and the day after, maybe you do a yoga training program. And finally, your goals also make a difference. So say you're injured, right? And you're on a rehab exercise program given to you by your well-meaning and very optimistic physiotherapist who's told you you should do this every single day, right? But of course, knowing from experience as a past physiotherapist myself, I know that not a lot of people will be doing that. Or maybe you're losing weight. In that case, you'll be doing some kind of physical activity for most, if not all days of the week. If you're on a strength training program, then you'll probably be resting one day in between. And for specialized types of training, such as for a marathon or for bodybuilding, there are different ways you can structure your exercise program so that you in fact do exercise consecutive days a week. And the best person to advise you about that will be your coach. So to summarize, in general, yes, you can exercise every day, but with a few caveats. The first is use a mix of exercise types, intensities, and durations. So if you want to run every day, maybe today you run at a moderate pace. Tomorrow, you run at higher intensity. And the following day, you do an easy recovery run. Or say you do push-ups every single day. Well, maybe today you can do maximum repetition sets, and tomorrow you do recovery sets in which you do maybe just half the reps. Yes, I know you will be going nowhere near failure, but that's not the point. Okay, the point is to allow recovery while not completely doing no push-ups at all. The second is to vary your repetitive stresses. So, for example, running every day affects your hips, your knees, your ankles, your lower back. And if you do that every day, well, that's the same impact going to those joints without any rest in between. So maybe if today you do a run, tomorrow you do a cross trainer, right? That's an exercise that's still cardio, but it brings in the muscles of the upper body and it's low impact in contrast to the running. Third, for strength training, if you're doing a full body workout, then add a day's rest or two in between. But if you're doing a split system in which you work different parts on different days, still you want to be very careful that you're not stressing the same joints 2 days in a row. So a very common example would be your rotator cuff and your shoulder joint. Now some people will say, hey, I'm training my chest today and my back tomorrow. That's different muscle groups. Yes, it's different muscle groups, but your shoulders and your rotator cuff are working really hard doing these exercises. So maybe add a day's rest in between or add a leg day in between. Fourth, work up to it. You don't get from 0 to 7 days a week in a flash, right? You need the time to get fitter, to get more experience, so that you can better judge your recovery by the time you want to exercise again. Fifth, make sure to mind your rest and recovery. Now, if you're like me, sometimes you tend to slip up a little bit on the sleep hygiene, right? Not sleeping very consistently. But if you're exercising every single day, you can't afford to do that. You'll need to give your body the best chance it has of recovery by the time you exercise again. And it's not just sleep, but also hydration, your nutrition, and also keeping other outside stresses to a minimum. Finally, listen to your body. Now, your body is going to tell you what you need to know about whether or not you can exercise. Don't be too set on a program that says, no, I've got to exercise every single day, or I'm going to lose the benefits of the program. That's not how it works. Okay? You need to listen to your body. Right? Do you still have DOMS? Do you still have some kind of pain or injury that you've been ignoring but you really better see a physio about? You don't have to and you shouldn't go to maximum every single day if you're training consecutive days. Now there's this J-curve effect, right? That up to a certain point, right, the harder and longer you exercise, you get the benefits, but then beyond that point, you start to put yourself at risk of injury or illness. So think long term. Alright, so that's all I've got for you. That's my quick answer. I hope it serves you. So yeah, please like this video, share it, subscribe, hit that you know what button below, and I'll see you soon.